Esta conferencia comenzará a grabarse.
So, good morning and welcome everyone. We start our morning session on intercluster collaboration to increase the competitiveness of the Europe's textile ecosystem. As you know, we are recording this session and it will be shared both in our own channels, the channels of the European Cluster Alliance and the ECCP, the European Cluster Collaboration Platform. So if you remain with us, you are accepting that. Today, we are going to return to a critical capacity, European capacity, critical during this crisis. And I suppose that we will take different approaches with two excellent experts and ensure the contribution of other participants in the call. So, we will follow the usual scheme. We will have two presentations. The first one from Ariadna Detrel from the Agrupación Empresarial Innovadora Textiles, and the second one from Bruno Mogin from Textera. After that, we will open the floor also to Maria Jose Zondag that will share with us last news from the European Cluster Collaboration Platform and open the discussion. So, Ariadna, are you there? Are
Yes.
you going to share your screen? Should I give you the presentation rights?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
One moment. Okay. It's okay
Now it's perfect. Thank you, Ariadna. The floor is yours.
Okay. Thanks, Antonio. First of all, thank you to the organizers of the webinar to give us the opportunity to speak about our experience. So I'm Ariadna Detrel, Cluster Manager at Ai Textiles. And I'm here with my colleague Bruno Moujang, Project Manager at Textera, and we are doing the presentation together. Okay. So we will briefly present our respective organizations, and then we will explain how we have been working together and the main outcomes we achieved. From our point of view, it is a success story of transnational intercluster collaboration. So start with the presentation of Ai Textiles. The aim of our cluster is to bring together all Catalan companies and organizations which are related to the advanced textile material sector with the aim of promoting innovation and increasing their competitiveness. As you see in the picture of the right, this is the structure of the cluster. We have in the middle, in the core, the manufacturing companies in the whole value chain of advanced textile materials, from the mainly yarns, fabrics, woven, and finishing processes. And then we have other organizations that are related to these companies, such as the providers of raw materials, fibers, chemicals, equipment, also the public administration and services providers, and one of the main important organizations, which are the research and education ones. And as an important point of the cluster, the products manufactured, textile products manufactured by our members are dedicated to technical application. Just a short definition of what we understand of technical textile or advanced textile material. It's a textile product that cannot be fitted within the traditional sectors of clothing and furnishing. Or another definition is a textile product in which functionality is as much or more important than aesthetics. We will see some examples later. Main facts of the cluster. We were created in 2008. In Catalonia, the sector is formed around 120 advanced textile materials. In 2019, the cluster had a significant growth. We increased the number of members, also the strategic projects, and as consequence, we increased the staff. So we are now a team, multidisciplinary team formed by 6 people to cover the needs of our members. And we are strongly involved in international networks and the cooperation with clusters in other sectors too. This is the strategy of the cluster, which is based in 4 main lines: innovation, internationalization, business development, and competencies. In the last years, we include two transversal topics, which are the main drivers of innovation in the sector, digitalization and sustainability. And we have networking in the center of the strategy, as it is for us an essential tool to achieve the strategical goals of the cluster. And finally, here in the right, we can see the KPIs of 2020. We mobilized 5.3 million euros in funded projects. We helped our members, mainly SMEs, to get 300k euros of funding for their projects. We have collaborated closely with the 12 European clusters, also with organizations in 38 different countries. We have presented 10 papers at international events, and we have organized 10 events. So now I give the floor to Bruno.
Thank you very much, Arianna. I hope you can hear me. Unfortunately, yes. I don't understand why you cannot see me, but actually I will introduce myself. So thank you very much to the organizer.
Should I give you back the presentation?
Yes,
in yours?
it's the same.
Sorry. I'm giving you the presentation rights again. No, sorry, my mistake.
No problem. It's okay now.
Thank you very much. So first of all, I would like to thank very much the organizer for giving us the opportunity to present our initiative. And I will first introduce myself and Textile as Arianna already explained us. I am project manager in Textile since 2011 and dealing with building of projects at the national and European and international level. So who we are? Textile, we are located in Lyon in France. We are a non-profit association and a cluster of competitiveness here in France. We were born in 2005. You can see key figures of us, and you understand that we are mainly dedicated to promotion of innovation, and especially by the way of collaborative projects. You can see the pipe of our project here, and I'll let you see figures. We are located in Lyon, which is a city historically dedicated to textile, and especially to silk production and silk weaving since the 16th century. One of the main person here in Lyon was Joseph-Marie Jacquard, who has invented the Jacquard process for textile weaving. And we can consider it was the first software in the 19th century. Okay, so we generate, we help for the building of the collaborative projects, and we find fundings for this project. As you can see, we are quite successful since 2005, and each year we have this project and the pipe of project you can see here with labelization, fundings, launching of a new project, and so on. We are not only dedicated to project building, but also to business development and internationalization, of course. And I will now present you the. Can you go to the next slide, please? I will present you the next next slide, which is about the technological roadmap of Textile. Three main pillars. The first one on factory on the future, a new business model for the textile industry. It's about digitalization, automatization, mass customization, small series production, relocalization, of course, 3D printing, and so on. The second one is about advanced and high performance materials with smart textiles and composites, additive manufacturing, functionalization, and so on. And the last one is about circular economy and resource efficiency, bio-based materials and recycling, eco-friendly processes, for example, microparticles release detection, and so on. So we are mainly focused on innovation, on competitiveness, on the whole value chain of the textile industry, as far as our members represent the whole chain of the textile industry, from the fiber and or filament production to the end products, and of course all the steps in between, yarn manufacturing, textile processes like weaving, knitting, braiding, and so on, non-woven, also finishing, assembling, and so on. Well, so that was a short introduction for Ai Textile and Textera, who we are, and now we will move to the presentation about the initiative. First, a short introduction about textile. So everybody knows what a textile is, but perhaps you don't know that we can find a textile in a lot of different applicative areas. And you see here 12 applicative areas. I don't know if you can easily read the wordings, but I will explain you. The first one, and we think to this first one, is close tech. And in Europe, we are mainly focused on luxury goods for furniture, clothing, and so on. So that's the first one, and of course it's the historically first dedicated textile domain. The second one is about transportations, and we are dealing with aeronautics and automotive industry, for example, and I will give you example later in the next slide. But now I will speak also about health and medical applications for textiles, like orthese, for example, but also implants or clothing for hospitals. You can see geotextiles and products for architecture and buildings, membranes and geotextiles for roads and a railway, for example. You can also see textiles for the agriculture to protect the cultures. You can see textile for furniture and so on, and for sport and personal protective equipment like the firemen or military applications and sport equipment and so on. So a short figure, the production of advanced textiles materials represents 28% of the textile production in Europe. So it's not anecdotic, so it's very important. Few examples just to make more robust the what I said before. You can see an example of the aeronautics applications, and you see that composites are representing 50% of the weight of the plane. It's not the future. It's actually it's the case for the Airbus A380. And another example, which is I think very significant, is about the valve production of valve for the artificial earth from Carmat. It's a French French startup, and you can see what I am presenting you. So very high added value, and you see that the textile industry exists since a lot of centuries. And we discovered in Europe, because of the pandemics, we discovered again textile industry because we produced masks, but we are producing also a lot of other very important and technical equipment. So the next slide.
Yeah, okay.
I will give the floor to Arianna again.
Okay, thank you very much. So after this introduction, to set the basis of this presentation, we are going to talk about the collaboration, not only between us, but also with other European clusters in the sector. In 2011, some of us met for the first time to prepare a joint proposal to be submitted at a new call launched by the European Commission, which was the promotion and development of world-class clusters in Europe. We succeed, and in 2012, we started working together, 7 clusters of advanced textile materials in Europe, led by a regional national agency in France. The aim was to develop and implement a long-term joint international strategy, contributing to secure, strengthen, and extend our competitiveness at international level. Here, the main outputs of the project for missions in the selected target countries, Brazil, Tunisia, USA, and Japan, the signature of MOUs with organization in these target countries, a creation of a database of international contacts, a definition of a joint internationalization strategy between the participating clusters, and an agreement on the statutes for the creation of a legal organization. But besides the project-specific outputs, other strategic and not less important results were achieved from our point of view of participating clusters in the project. First, the reinforcement of our identity as a cluster on advanced textile materials. So the fact of working with other organizations like us helped to strengthen our structure and our goals. The increase of the knowledge on internationalization activities. Most of us were inexperienced, so we learned once from others, and also we learned jointly. And to strengthen the relationship with some of the partners and establish at the beginning of a long-term cooperation. So we started to find common needs and objectives besides internationalization. As an example, in our cluster, Ai Textiles, we worked together with 2 Textile 2020 members and started a 3-year project co-funded by LIFE program in 2015. We decided to join efforts also with R&D organization to help our members facing the difficulties in the substitution process of hazardous chemicals that are used in the textile finishing processes. Specifically, in Mid-World Life project, we work on durable water and oil repellents to search for sustainable alternatives. And 1 year later, we used the same scheme that we saw that worked well. And we incorporated another cluster from Textile 2020, and we started LifeLaric project. In that case, we work on flame retardants. So The results of both projects benefited directly the members of our clusters, which would have been difficult to be achieved by our own. And finally, I will mention another initiative in which almost all Textile 2020 clusters were involved, that is RegioTex. It is an initiative that brings together stakeholders from the textile, clothing, and related industries, and also public authorities in a joint effort to develop and implement strategies that facilitate and accelerate the emerging industrial renewal in traditional manufacturing regions across Europe. Since November 2016, RegioTex supports the thematic partnership on textile innovation, which was launched as part of the European Smart Specialization Platform on industrial modernization. Later, in 2016, all Textile 2020 partners, except the regional agency and the UK clusters, joined forces again and built a new project on internationalization as a follow-up of the previous Textile 2020 project. We succeed again, and we start the project funded by Cluster Go International in Strand 2. Now, in that case, besides the consortium of the clusters, we counted with a group of external collaborators that helped in the development of the project, such as other clusters, also Messe Frankfurt, or the European Textile Technology Platform. In that case, we based in 4 target markets: Israel, South Africa, Colombia, and Japan, Taiwan. So here, as a summary, you can see the main activities we developed during the project. Here are the outputs of the project. 5 missions to the target countries, 5 market studies, of course, of the target countries, 6 webinars, 2 matchmaking events organized, establishment of 7 partnerships with international partners in the countries, 3 joint booths in international trade fairs, and organizations of 172 B2B, B2C, and B2C meetings. And the most important one, the creation of a legal structure involving the 7 participating clusters in EU Textile 2030 in November 2019. And now Bruno will introduce you this organization.
Okay, thank you, Ariadna. You can hear me, yes. So what is the EU Textile 2030? It's a European Economic Interest Grouping. We are based in Brussels, and we are a network of clusters. That's very important. It means we are dedicated to clusters, but the organization must serve the networks of the members, of course, because we are at the end working for the textile industry and the textile network ecosystem in Europe. Clusters are small organizations, as Ariadna explained, 6 persons only in Ai Textiles, 11 in Tectera, and our colleagues are not so much. So we were born from the complementarity. And now we are representing the European advanced textile materials sector with more than 600 SMEs and nearly 100 research organizations. So if you can move to the next slide, thank you. Who are composing this network? 7 partners. I will start from the west part with Cluster Textile Tecnologia e Moda from Portugal, from the north of Portugal, which is also a very textile-oriented area. Then 2 organizations from Spain and Catalonia with Atteval and Ai Textiles. 1 from Italy, in the north of Italy, in the Piemonte region with Pointex. Then Clutex in Czech Republic, and Eura Materials in the north of France, and of course Tectera. We have a board with Felipe Carrasco, who is the chairman of our organization. Ariadna Detral is the secretary, and Corinne Farras is the vice chair of the organization and also cluster manager of Textile. So what is our vision and what is our mission? So three main pillars. We are mainly dedicated to innovation, and we focus on collaborative innovation. So our vision is to increase the competitiveness of European SMEs in the advanced textiles material sector. And our mission is to gather the European SMEs and other organizations related to advanced textiles material sectors through clusters, 7 I explained you, with the development of specific actions and support services, mainly in 3 pillars: collaborative projects of area of research, development, and innovation, internationalization, and fundraising. And Ariadna explained you just before that we were born from a project about internationalization, so that's very important. A lot of activities, even if the pandemics has impacted last year our activities. The first one is about a partner search tool. It's a database that is updated every 4 months. And for example, I personally use it to identify partners at the European level in our cluster members. We have also a 6 monthly newsletter, and the last one has presented 12 success stories from members of the of EU Textile 2030. From SMEs especially. We are participating to a European project proposals, and I think we have submitted 4 or 5 proposals last year. We are co-organizing events. The last one was 2 weeks before about circular economy and more specifically about bio-based materials for the textile industry, with more than 300 registered participants. And we negotiate to be member of the board of the European Textile Platform in Brussels. And okay, that's the activity we have conducted last year. And because of pandemics, we were not able to organize B2B meetings or exploratory missions or sharing of reports about missions, but we will do as soon as possible, of course. Next slide, please. Thank you. So we arrived to the last slide of our presentation. Sorry, we have conclusions and learning, and it's quite important to highlight that in the frame of the cooperation of EU Textile 2030, we had the dynamic to work together, and we can highlight that we managed to succeed in submitting proposals between the member of EU Textile 2030. And we had successful with internationalization proposals like Alliance and Tex Global, for example, where are 2 COSME programs about internationalization of the textile industry, and for Alliance in the defense and the security sector. About cluster excellence with Textra and Clamtex. An INOSUP project with Galactica, and a networking project which is a cost action called Context, and this section is gathering members from, experts from the Smart Textiles industry and the Smart Textile Research and Development Center from 34 or 5 different countries in Europe. So the next slide, and I think it's the last one. We can highlight what this initiative, very important initiative for us, has generated. Of course, an increase of visibility of the textile sector on the international level. It's very important for us because we want to show that the textile industry is a very innovative industry, and we are a provider of innovative solutions for other sectors. The learnings and the good practice that we can share with you is that we have to count on a commitment of partners to work on benefit of the European economic interest grouping. Of course, it's very important. We have no personal resources for the moment in EU Textile 2030. The cluster staff used to work together. We are working since 2011 together, so we know each other and we know how to work with our partners. It's a win-win, win-to-win relationships between clusters and the meta cluster, of course, and then indirectly for the members of the clusters. We are able to work on an intersectorial approach, of course, and I will finally explain that it's a fruitful frame of cooperation, even in case of pandemics, as far it was the place to exchange ideas and to speak about different initiatives in the different countries, and to try to build a dynamic at the European level to fight pandemics with textile solutions, for example. So I think we can move to the last slide, and I will thank you very much for your attention and give the microphone to Ariadna also. Thank you.
Okay, well, yes, this is the last slide, so I think that yes, we finish the presentation, and we are at your disposal to answer if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Adriana. Gracias, merci beaucoup, Bruno, and congratulations. It's an excellent model of what is collaboration across networks and clusters in Europe. So my most sincere congratulations. We will come back to it, okay? So, but now I will give the floor to Maria Jose that will present last news from the ECCP. Maria Jose, should I give you the presentation rights?
Yes, please.
Okay, so welcome.
I will just share my screen. Okay. Can you see the screen?
Not yet. Now.
Can you see it now? Yeah.
Yes, not in full screen mode yet.
Oh,
we see it,
I have it in presentation mode.
No, but you can go on if you want.
Yeah.
Good enough,
okay.
I would say.
Okay. Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Marie-José Zonder. I'm Deputy Director of the European Cluster Collaboration Platform. And Antonio, thank you very much for the invitation to be able to present the latest news on the ECCP. And thank you also, Bruno and Ariadna, for the excellent presentation. I think it's really very interesting to see how you develop to a full EEIG. I would just like to inform you a little bit that we are having currently a new website. So the website has been refreshed. which means that we have now more profiles, more profile types. So there is also training providers and the EAAC, so the resource efficiency actors have been integrated. There are meta clusters, and there are also the members of cluster organizations. We have already, 1,250 registered clusters and 58 cluster association and networks. And we also present it here because the website will only function well if you update your profile. To give an idea of what is now possible, for example, there is there's of course a new design, but the cluster mapping is more comprehensive, and it is now making use of NACI codes. To give an example, what it means to have updated
Sorry,
your
Maria,
profile or not.
Maria
Yes.
Jose, for your knowledge, we are always in the same first slide. I don't know if you are moving yours across your slides, but we are seeing only the first one. Now we are in the third.
Okay. Okay, then I will stop the presentation mode. Then apparently that doesn't work. Okay. I was previously showing this slide in which you can see the new new profile types on the right. And thank you, Antonio. I don't know what is the reason. For example, on the cluster mapping, there currently only 10 textile clusters appear. And if you have updated your profile, you would be able to see many more textile clusters. So we strongly suggest you to update your profile. Other things that are now possible is that you will be able to see the capacity building webinars. There is the cluster exchange where you can share knowledge opportunities and exchange between organizations. And what is new is also the Towards the Green Transition Technical Assistance Facility, which has now been closed, but they are now in the process of selecting those that can participate and make use of the technical assistance. On the website, you will also see 9 in focus areas, which will update you on all kind of information. So I saw, for example, that the webinar of the 25th of March on funding opportunities on textiles, which I think is also run by Bruno and Ariadna, is on the website. So you can post yourself events, news, and articles. And in social media, when you put the hashtag ECCP, you will reach a broader audience, since it's not just the textile clusters that you will reach, but all kind of clusters. It's all for free, so there's no payments to it. And just to show very quickly, you can, this is the website, and here you can either register or log in. You can put all kind of details also. So what is different now is that also the members of your cluster can register here. And you can also actually send private chat messages to each other. So it's you can really use it as an interactive way. So that is just a brief information about the cluster collaboration. And yeah, that's what I wanted to tell. I don't know, Antonio, if there is further questions or if you have remarks.
Thank you very much, Maria Jose. I don't see the network that just presented Ariana and Bruno in the between the networks in the ECCP. So I don't know if you are registered, but if not, you should be. It's very important. You must
Yes.
now. For example, that we were looking for the network just some weeks ago for some proposals on European open opportunities and so on. So it's very important to have that in the ECCP.
Yeah. For example, I saw that Ai Textiles is updated and is there, but Textile is not updated, so it doesn't appear currently. And also, I didn't find Poentex, Atival Euromaterials. But for example, Saxon Textile is updated and is there. Bulgaria Fashion is there, Amuebla, sorry, and Advanced Materials is there.
So this is a strong recommendation to take the time to update the profiles. And if you are not registered, to register your European network. Very important. Thank you very much, Maria Jose.
Thank you, Maria Jose. We will update the the profiles, of course.
Wonderful. You know, for example, for the report on, you know that we are working to promote the production of vaccines across Europe. What we have made is look through the ECCP, taking into account the NACTES codes. And we found that there are several clusters that are not updated, and they didn't receive the communication, and they told us, why did you didn't communicate us? And so that's really important because it is being used. Ariadna.
If I can add something, yes, because we,
Sure.
I don't remember the day it was, but some days ago, our responsible for projects made a presentation explaining as an example of how we use the ECCP platform. So we disseminated our experience, and I must say that we use it a lot, and for us, it's really a good help to find partners.
Yeah, and it was really he had a wonderful slide where you could see that the spike on his LinkedIn profile going up whenever he posted something on ECCP. It was a very nice slide. And it's the organization is paid by the commission, so it's all for free. So
Wonderful. Lucia Gonzalez from Materalia, welcome. Bonjour. Would you comment on your the messages that you have shared in the chat?
Well, I think that this is, I mean, that this is more like your project, no? Ariadno, probably?
Yes, I saw your message on the chat. Yes.
Disseminating. But I thought I
yes.
heard like a couple of days ago. It's super interesting, so.
Yes, we would like to say a lot of things in the presentation. So we missed perhaps some important issues. Yes, Galactica project is an INASUP led by Ai Textiles. And yes, we launched on the 16th the first call for proposals. It's a project that aims to bring together textile and aeronautics and advanced manufacturing. So it also, from my side, it answers the question from Nina if we collaborate with clusters in other sectors. So it's an example of, in that case, that the collaboration of textiles with aerospace, aeronautic industry. And yes, in the website you can find all the information for the call. There are two types of projects that can be submitted, and it's open until 19th May. And if you have any question, of course, you can contact us.
I cannot miss the opportunity to also share other call for proposals. Nina, would you speak about it?
Yes, thank you and hello everyone. We have also amended a Horizon 2020 project right now, which is called Mind the Gap. And it is not directly related to textiles, but we also have advanced manufacturing as one of the provider sectors that we're looking for. And what we are wanting to do with this project is to create new value chains in the mining and raw materials sectors, and bring together companies as the adopters of solution from the mining and raw materials sectors with SMEs from different European countries that work in circular economy, that work on ICT, that work on resource efficiency and on advanced manufacturing, to make the entire mining value chain more green, more digital, and more sustainable. And this is why we have 2 voucher schemes right now, which try to foster this collaboration between these different SMEs with the aim of more sustainability in mining.
And this is open also until
the 5th of May. Until the 5th of May, it is open, and you can apply for different voucher schemes.
Okay, thank you very much, Nina, for sharing. So, okay, we have some minutes just for open dialogue. Who wants to comment?
Can I make a question, Antonio, to the people from the IT? How do you promote open innovation in your sector, in your clusters? And what kind of international experience do you want to do in order to reinforce this open innovation?
That's for you, Ariana and Bruno.
Yes, if I understood, the question was about how do we implement collaborative innovation in our cluster, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. So I don't know, Ariana, I can start if you want. So we in Textile we are generating and building projects of cooperation between industry and research center, and that's our daily job. So we start from workshops with presentations of technology providers, for example, or end users, and we try to make the bridges between both, and then we work together with the group of interest in order to transform this group of interest into a consortium and to transform the idea into a project with deliverables and planning and so on. So that's the way we are working to promote collaborative project of innovation. And about internationalization, there is another question in the chat, and I can answer both at the same time. We have a lot of initiatives with our European members. I mentioned Alliance. We will have a new one called EU Alliance, and also Tex Global and other one. We focused on targeted countries, and especially the ones that are coming back very often are Japan, US, for example, but we also moved to Taiwan, Mexico, Colombia, South Africa, sorry, Canada, Israel, and so on, Thailand, I think, and so on. And we have a very strong cooperation with Japan, in particular in France, but with our European colleagues, and because it's a very important country for innovation, especially for textile, because they are innovating a lot on fibers and filament with new polymers and new functionalizations and so on. I don't know if you want to add something, Ariana, but feel free.
Yeah, no, more or less. I think that concerning the first question is we were more or less at the same level. I should say that in our case, you know that the textile industry is a traditional one, a family companies, no, and it's a difficult process to start collaborative projects. But we work on it, try to match interest between companies and build collaborative projects, and also with the cooperation of the research and development organizations.
Could I ask a question? Due to the pandemic, things are much more virtual, which within Europe goes reasonably okay. How is this in international cooperation? Do you, with which countries do you find it's going well and not well to do to communicate now virtually?
In the project, we have Text Global, in which we are working together, Tectera and us. It started in September, and we decided to wait to start internationalization activities, as we need to start from the beginning, no, with the countries. I think it's Mexico, Vietnam, and USA. So we decided to wait because, of course, the situation is really difficult, and we prefer to do it as always we have done it, you know, to go to the place and so on. In our case, for other collaborative projects we have with international countries such as Morocco, Jordan, or Tunisia, we have been working. It has been online working. We can say that it has been okay. We have fulfilled the objectives with that we expected.
Okay. I'm also asking this because the ECCP had lined up several matchmaking events on in international matchmaking events, and currently we have to come up with alternative ideas or they will be cancelled. So in case there are smart ideas from your end that the ECCP can help with matchmaking events, just let us know.
Perfect. So, any other question or comment, contributions? I have one. Could you, because I didn't know about this legal entity across Europe. Okay, I don't remember the name of the joint association, no? Commercial. I understand this is a commercial association, no? Is that true? And you know what I mean? The legal form that you have.
No, the legal form is European Economic Interest Grouping.
So this is a commercial entity, in fact. No?
Yes, I think so, but yeah.
No?
Yeah.
For profit. It's for profit, no?
I think so, because we initially we would like to set some kind of association, but we were recommended because of course we are not aware of the laws in Belgium and so on, and we were recommended to set this kind of organization. That it was the best one.
Yeah, I would like to know about the advantages of creating that kind of association as the legal form.
I think, Antonio, one of the advantages is that you can work across Europe. So that's you're recognized by the whole of Europe. But I have to admit my knowledge of it is a bit rusty. A few years ago I knew more about it, and if it is correct, but again there it's a bit rusty. It doesn't necessarily is commercial. It can be both profit and non-for-profit. But again, there I'm not 100% sure.
For example, the European Cluster Alliance is an international association based on Belgium. Okay. It will be interesting to know which are the, because we are speaking about networks, and so it could be interesting for the networks to know the possibilities and the characteristics of every one of them, just to choose the best one. I think it could be a topic to explore.
Yeah,
you know?
it is. I think it would be interesting for the ECA. So it's definitely worthwhile to explore.
I confirm that it would be very interesting because it was a burning issue when we had to create something, and it was very difficult to find the best legal entity to create. And we are not aware of Belgian law. We are not specialists of juridical questions at the European level. We are only small clusters. And it's not so easy to manage such questions. So we were supported by a lawyer and so on, but it would be very happy, I think, very helpful. Sorry, to share such information with the community, I guess.
Yeah, we could look to organize something either from the ECCP or from our side, but I think it's a very good idea, just to share different approaches, and because I suppose that it all depends on what kind of activities do you plan to do with the network. Okay, but
yeah. So here is some text. I put a link in the chat. So you have the right to enter into contracts and to sue or be sued, and tax transparency. Members have flexibility regarding methods of financing. So it doesn't need to be there. There is no capital requirement for an EAIG. And members may vary in funding methods, rights, and obligations. So it's a quite flexible tool, so to say.
yeah, but there are alternatives. I mean, one could be to be a international non-profit association. I don't know. It could be interesting to explore. Let's explore. Yes. Okay, so I think that it's time to close. Thank you very much, Bruno, Ariadna, Maria Jose, for all your wonderful inspirations and for congratulations for your work. Okay, and we continue in contact. Okay, hope to see you soon in next sessions. Thank you.
Thank you, Antonio.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much, Antonio.
Thanks so much, Antonio and Bruno.
You are very welcome. Bye.
Thank you.